Today I'm playing the manliest game possible. The machismo dripping off this title is too much to handle. Oh no. The Killing Antidote sees you playing Jodi, a smoking hot journalist who can kill the shit out of zombies. If you were wondering, yeah, this is a Resident Evil clone, with an added claim to fame that you can dress up the girlie you play as. Around the map are strewn various pieces of apparel. Almost all of them are lewd. You might be thinking, wow, this is the most generic male teenage fantasy, which you would be correct, but also this game is awesome. I chose the hardcore difficulty because I'm an alpha male, and believe it or not, it turned out to be a hardcore experience. I'm in a bit of a situation. Nice. At the beginning of our journey, Jodi assigns herself to the investigation of a super secret scientific organization that definitely didn't have anything to do with the zombies. I was sure a prepared for anything type journalist like Jodi would be prepared for things. Nope, she only brought a flashlight, so we're gonna have to make do with what we can. Finding a couple combat knives and an axe means our girlie's gonna have to show off those muscles. We're then introduced to the most wonderfully Resident Evil-esque mechanic, locked doors, which after acquiring an old rusty Glock, we find the first keycard, and then I get clobbered, so I have to go back and get it. Then Jodi put on a skirt that is way too short, and for the time being, I have to do some editing every time she does something athletic. Funny story, in this room there is a shotgun I'm able to access. However, I thought I couldn't, so I left it in there for way too long, and the game gets increasingly difficult as we progress. At least I'm given a more powerful handgun right before I'm ambushed. The moment you use the office computer to reset a password, two groups of zombies that were lying in wait immediately pop out behind you and in front of you, leaving poor Jodi dead on a couch. The next time I was more strategic and we made it out of there okay. The password we changed opens up to a room with a new zombie type in it. A woman who spits at you. That's typical for me. Anyway, she was guarding a shiny blue key card, which we can use. It opens up a door where a zombie just casually walks itself into a mine, so that's great. I should mention that one of the most annoying things in this game are the mines. The radius of explosion is ridiculously large and it'll knock down your health quite a bit. And seemingly, they're only there to screw with you. I found a backpack, which is useful for carrying more items, but makes Jodi look substantially goofier. Then was informed that our fair lady's dirty and we need to find a shower so she can clean up. This proves to be an unbelievably difficult task. First, we need to find a valve to turn off a roaring flame blocking my path. But before making any progress on that, I'm introduced to this horrifying science experiment. She's like that crying lady from Left 4 Dead, and she can scream at you to do damage. This fine woman hits like Mike Tyson, and I died a few times. After taking her out like the trash, the only thing I gained from that entirely optional fight was a pair of shoes. Alright, back to making progress. I thwarted the ambush that was supposed to come from this fan. Then a zombie got in an argument with a door. Whoa. Yo, bro. You alright? You alright, bro? Oh my goodness, I'm not making it any better. I found the valve and ripped it right out of the wall and performed the transplant. With the way clear, I can get to the area with the showers in it. Problem is, the showers are on the second floor and you have to parkour your way up there. I say problem because the lack of stairs or a ladder will be very painful later on. We find Jodi her shower, but whoops, the water isn't running. Guess we're gonna have to go figure out how to turn that on. An endeavor you'll soon see is a monolithic task. It wasn't helped by this door, which I do have the key to. I didn't know I had the key, but let's ignore the 10 minutes I spent looking for it. Once you're inside that room, the door locks behind you. It isn't too big of an issue to escape. Grenades do wonders when it comes to remodeling. Unfortunately, the naked male denizens below me didn't enjoy that very much. I'm not at all sure what they were doing in this cramped space, but you know, I'm not concerned. They let me know real quick my feelings on the subject don't matter at all. So next time around, I sent them all to hell. The point of that room was to turn on the water water, but apparently you have to go to the pump first and physically turn the valve, which is missing, because of course it is, meaning I've got to go take the original valve and use it over here. Back to the locked room. The second I press this button, the quest to get the shower running goes from a tad bit tedious to absolutely insane. Every single zombie in the building is attempting to stop us from getting sudsy.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I eventually figured the game wanted me to be more prepared for this sequence, so I backtracked to get more weaponry. Since I'm a dirty weasel, I looked up how to get the shotgun. You have to shoot an invisible lock off the door that I mentioned earlier. Next was an UMP 45 behind a door locked by a keypad. I cheated again looking up the code. I knew it was on this poster, but I'm just too blind to find it, I guess. Ready and able, armed to the teeth. This didn't get much easier. I mean, I did make significantly more progress, but there is one minor hiccup here. What? Great news! An inexplicable explosion destroyed my only means of parkouring up to the shower. The new way to get there is a torturous detour through a nigh-on invincible zombie girl and 40 or so zombies. You'll never feel more powerless than getting beat up by a woman who can eat 5 shotgun blasts to the face. Not to mention, I started every attempt by loosening her up with a mine. Wonderful. In that exact same fight, she tanked at least 7 headshots. Once I finally defeated her and every other zombie on the planet, it's time to get clean. I'd probably feel creepy if I didn't earn this peep show, damn it. Literally nothing goes my way. We are now in a towel being chased. There's nowhere to hide. This big bastard crashes through everything in his path. Luckily, the wall that has this vent is too thick for him, so we can escape. We're somewhat safe for now, but weaponless except for this bow and arrow we find. The next part involves a puzzle wherein you have to start this fan, go to the other side of it, then jump through. Should be easy enough. Oh my god. Yes! After showing everyone my excellent reflexes, I briefly hide in this locker from a very scary lady. I'm then shown some bad hombres doing bad hombre stuff, and I've got to eliminate the problem. This was supposed to be a stealth section, but I'm no good with shadows. Oh! Get some, suckers. Filled with a bunch of bullet holes, I needed to be careful as spitting on Jodi would kill her. Thank God for opioids. And clothes, I guess, but that was our fault. I wasn't expecting to reference the Bible in this video either. After slaughtering the mostly shirtless group of men, a whole ass party goes down in this room in which zombies come in and kill the men kill the zombies, and I kill everybody. The corpses on the ground are incalculable. If you have a keen eye, you might have seen one of these posters with the numbers in the top left. I need to find all 4 of them so I can guess the combination to this keypad to progress. You have to guess the right order as you imagine, and I eventually didn't do that. I had to look it up. Inside, we find a key that leads us directly into the arms of this fellow. Joke's on him though, he doesn't know the copious amounts of growth hormone Jodi's been on. Oh my god. I haven't the faintest clue what just happened. Proceeding from that schizophrenic event, we landed in the basement. Weaponless for the moment, I should be careful not to run into the sparsely spread out zombies. And I really didn't do well at that. The prime meat of Jodi's neck was chomped on a few times. I found our route to safety, this ladder. And what I meant by safety was these slug monsters. Things are not looking up for Jodi here. Not even a safety vest can help. The alien babies can even follow you through vents. It's so great. There was a hell of a rave I had to break through to get to my weapons. My first attempt was a total failure and broke Jodi's ankles. The second time, a bonk on the head did me in. I was never much for parties, and a spare grenade could help me with that. At last, I was reunited with my God-given right to shoot stuff. And after reaching an elevator, I was taken away from the depths. I was then stuck for a long time. Looking to the internet didn't even help. Nobody was having my problem. Met with 3 doors that were locked. The only thing I could do was in this shower. So Jodi got cleaned up again, that's nice. I was pretty sure it had something to do with this walkway area. There's a vent that you can throw a grenade into, maybe that's what's gonna break open this wall. But no, you have to time the grenade going off on this side of the wall so the explosion will break through the cracks. The time it took to figure this out is humiliating. The game does its best to cheer me up by giving me a fat stack of cash, which conveniently came in handy when I was chased by 30 zombies and bought a Desert Eagle from a vending machine. Due to the strange architecture of this place, we loop back to where Jodi left her backpack, and in the next section, yet again, we come face to face with this feminine juggernaut. She handled me like my cat does spaghetti, and I dealt with her in the scummiest way possible. The only way into this room is a vent, and that makes zombies quite confused. Sure, she can scream so loud it murders me on the other side, but in the end, I won. She was so demoralized, her brain broke. Look at that shit. I broke her brain. I broke her brain. It was in this stairwell I decided I didn't like the look of traffic cone Jodi. But before I could do anything about that, I met this fine fellow who gave me a keycard and asked for some help. I then promptly watched him get murdered by a boss and then died to the fight. Well, at least it gives me time to spruce up Jodi a little bit, make her not so disgusting. The boss fight actually wasn't that bad compared to getting beat up by those weeping girls. I walked around this shelf till he died. With that keycard, we get access to the final part of what's currently released in this game. After programming this elevator to take me to floor B1, and after acquiring a cozy sweater to keep the frosty digits of the zombies away, me and Jodi are ready for what comes next. I'm kidding, my pain is about to be severe. I've complained a few times in this video, but those were all my problem. But this climactic battle is bafflingly stupid. You have to activate 3 generators via this computer one at a time and wait for them to spin up before starting the next one. That doesn't sound too bad, I know, but for some incomprehensible reason, if any zombie is standing inside this room, the process is interrupted. In 4 attempts, I burned through 40 minutes, and if I had anything important to do with my life, that could have been valuable time. When I completed it, Jodi was 1 hit away from death, and I almost had to do it all over again just trying to get out of the place. Throughout this journey, Jodi has shown us her immense fortitude. I dare say she's the best journalist to ever journal, yo. With the entrance to the underground laboratory opened, Jodi descends further into the madness, which concludes the first part of the Killing Antidote. If you made it this far and enjoyed, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more, and thank you so much for watching.